How's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at Blood on the Tracks Volume 1. This is written by Shuzo Oshimi and is a really good, creepy story about this boy and his mom. Now, a lot of people, when they talk about this story, they jump right into the ending of Volume 1. I won't spoil it, but most people, when they talk about this, they say, this is the story where the mother does this. And I understand why they go for that, because that's the inciting incident of the series overall, but I think it's best reading Volume 1 if you don't know the horrible thing that happens at the end. But also, I can see they do that to ensure you that this is a horror story where big and creepy stuff happen. But that's sort of the thing about Volume 1, is nothing creepy really has happened for the initial part of this. This is actually just kind of an unsettling slice of life book where you can tell that there's something wrong with this relationship between a boy and his overprotective mother, but nothing explicitly creepy has happened. But there's things just like the way she stares and how the kid reacts to different things in his life. You know, how he'll be kind of suspicious of something that shouldn't be bad and is kind of just friendly, but I don't know about that. Or the way he stares and looks at things, POV shots of him looking to his mother for approval. You know, just even the sound, like there's this zeg zeg zeek sound that's constantly written on the side that I think is just the ambient sounds of crickets or something, but placing attention on these things that don't quite matter, like the cricket sounds, kind of just tell you, I guess subconsciously, that the kid is overly aware of all the world around him and kind of just scanning that for threats. But it is hard to put your finger on why it's so creepy, because a lot of the stuff in the book is more or less normal, everyday slice of life stuff. But I was reading through it absolutely unnerved and glued to the book. Like, I read this whole thing in one sitting, straight through, unbroken, just because it did have me hooked and constantly wanting to know what's next, and constantly just in the back of my head knowing that something was up, even though they don't tell you straight away that something is up. And I really do like that with this book. So again, Volume 1 is kind of subtle, and a lot of the reasons why, when people talk about it, they spoil that inciting incident that comes at the end of the volume, is it does start off subtle, but stuff does happen, and boy, when it goes down, we get to a dark moment at the end, and I try to avoid spoilers, but I hear it only gets darker from here on out. So I thought Volume 1 was good and creepy in a very low-key way, and I can't wait to read the rest of the volumes. I think quite a few have come out. I need to go and get my hands on those really quick, because this is pretty fun. I can definitely fun's not the right word, but I can definitely recommend it. Anyway, if you guys want to hear a little bit more about this story, I'm going to switch to the close-up camera. I'll talk about the story, show you guys a little bit more of the art. I'll be avoiding major spoilers, though. Without further ado, let's switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at Blood on the Tracks Volume 1 by Shuzo Oshimi. And if we take it closer to the camera, I really do like this cover. It's not overly extravagant. It's a picture of the mother and the kid in this book when he was a little baby. And the cover does wrap around. Again, beautiful watercolors. The watercolor nature is more apparent when you get to the background. But we see this date. It's actually a photograph pasted in a scrapbook. And the idea that it's a photograph isn't revealed till you get to the back. And in the gutter between the photo and the edge of the page, that's where they put the description. The description, again, doesn't spoil the comic like most people do. Just, it's a mother who loves him very much, but things are odd, and one terrible summer day, everything changes. We also get the barcode up at the top where you can see this cost $12.95 US, a pretty fair price. And there's the other stuff as well. Now, I won't flip to the back of the book, and one thing I say is if you don't know the big inciting incident at the end of this volume that starts the whole series, be careful in the back, because there's kind of a stinger for the next volume that does kind of spoil what happens in here. I will say that the end of the book, it has the legal. It also has a photo gallery, and that's where this image actually comes from. It's like the scrapbook with the photos of the mom and the young baby. So there is stuff back there, but don't mess with it, because you might see the ad, which will spoil the book. Anyway, if we crack it open, we actually get some nice color pages, which serve as a cold opening before the table of contents. So we can see it has 7 chapters, but there aren't super big chapter breaks in this volume. Like, again, I kind of like making it clearer where the chapters end, but to be honest, this thing flows so much as one big story that these chapter heads do kind of surprise you when they pop up, because it does really flow really well together. So yeah, it really is just more one big thing than a bunch of chapters, But anyway, after that, let's talk about the story proper. Again, I won't be doing any major spoilers. A lot of this is slice of life stuff, so I'll just try to pick a few scenes that really set the tone and try to point out how this comic works. Note, there is a big terrifying thing at the end, a really dark, inciting incident, and yeah, creepy stuff does happen, but I'm not gonna spoil it. But anyway, these color pages, we see a hand holding mom's hand way on the ground. So this is when he's a really little kid, and he sees a poor little kitty sleeping on the street, and we get, it's cold, Mom. Why is it so cold? Oh, because it's dead. And her just double page splash staring at the camera. I thought as I was reading, why is the mom so unnerving and creepy? And I think part of that is just because she does have a tendency to stare at the camera a lot. But anyway, that was a dream of a repressed memory, and he is going to wake up, and then we get the title page and the table of contents. But we see him waking up here, and his mom is going to sit there on the bed and tickle him, and he's like, Mom, stop that. And that's where we see her for the first time in the present, again, staring right at the camera. And there's a lot of little unimportant things that kind of do make this feel slice of life, but also giving semi-unimportant things more screen time. You do kind of get the feel that we are analyzing everything and that something is off, but him scratching his head, shot of him going down the stairs, shot of him going then into the room, and then when we meet the dad, he's just kind of standing there in this wide shot, almost a little unexpectedly there, and then, him eating, the TV going on in the background. It's very natural, very realistic, and it does really work within the tone. You get little things like, what would you want, pork or all these other flavors? He's always going to pick pork. And you do get, again, little slice of life moments. This girl he's staring at that he likes, and she's talking to this other boy. Well, what do? You make fun of her and then hide really quick, and then she's gonna come out and surprise you and be playful with you, So you can tell that he is in part kind of jealous and kind of upset, but he's going to try to work that into something and try to figure out how to be more socially acceptable. So you get the idea that he is a bit of an outsider, but he's not, totally cold. And we get things like when the cat's brought up again, and I think this just at the end of part 1, where he mentions his dream, and the mom goes, "You remember that? You were only 3. Why, you're so special for remembering something from when you were 3. And you get her kind of staring at him there. Again, you know something else is going on, especially when she asks, "Do you remember how the cat died?" Yeah, there's definitely more to that story. Her touching the kid, this super awkward long angle and look at the scene before he's like, "Mom, stop that," and pushes her away. And, "Oh, you're embarrassed that you love your mom, right?" Yeah, there's something underneath here, some undertones. We also get scenes like where his cousin comes over, and the cousin is going to play video games with him when he brings up, after winning a few games, "Don't you know your mom is kind of overprotective?" And, you think, oh, it's just joking, just two kids talking to each other. But yeah, the look on his face, that's not... yeah, that's going to strike something within him. Flashback to her spending the whole kindergarten with him. But yeah, he's taking that very, very seriously. So yeah, you do get to see how he treats the world, how things react to him, how he's just kind of an outsider, and how for the longest time in this comic, something's kind of up, but you don't really know exactly what's going on, exactly what's happening, or exactly why you're creeped out. But anyway, his family, grandpa's there, his cousin's family's there. They're all going on this trip, and again, another nice wide shot, something that shouldn't be unnerving, but giving it such a big, wide panel, it is kind of ominous, and we know this trip is where something's gonna go down. I mean, the back of the book told us, but if it didn't, that shot told us. So I really do like what I showed you, it wasn't anything too super outright creepy, but in the shot choice, in those little sound effects, that little zeek, zeek, zeek of, I guess, what is crickets or something, it shows you how to make something unnerving without anything actually happening. And I think I'm just only scratching the surface, because I know how I felt when I read it, but I don't necessarily know exactly why I felt that, because again, this book is all leading up to that inciting incident, so it's all told through camera work and atmosphere and facial expressions. So I really do like getting that unsettling atmosphere without anything overt happening, and I feel it is pretty cool. But again, like I said, it does get pretty dark at the end, but I won't spoil it. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my manga playlist. I've talked about things like Junji Ito, Orochi, Chainsaw Man. Definitely working on filling out that playlist more. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.